They tryna turn Trenton into Baby Flint. Been signs by depression on the billboards ever since. 100 years ago we was lynched. Now they use germ warfare to kill us. I'm convinced, got the evidence. I look around and it's evident. Then go down to City Hall and see so much negligence. Real art is intelligent. A true artist sends messages that speak to your intelligence. They fought and died so I can do my thing. Not to get drunk and high or join no game. I will not let none of you die in vain. For my people I bang, bang, bang. My ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. My ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. I rep for you in everything I do. I rep for you in every place I go. I rep for you in everything I do. In every place I go. They say post-traumatic slavery disorder's fake, but I just tell them all to wake up. Everything we went through, what a way down a rape, bro. It's in our genetic makeup. So I am my ancestors from block to block. Let's build like it's Tetris. We must unite, link up like a necklace. They fought and died and we disrespected. So I come to correct it. The legacy they left I protected. We only think about self and neglected. You're African but yet you rejected. No, my ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. My ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. I rep for you in everything I do. I rep for you in every place I go. I rep for you in everything I do. In every place I go. I do. I go.
Hey, welcome back to another edition of New Freedom Exchange, a cultural expression for social dignity and community empowerment. I'm your co-host, Brother Deen.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Marsha here.
Oh no, Walaikum salam, Sister Marsha. And peace, blessings. Assalamu alaikum. This is Bilal, Imam Bilal Hassan. We're here, back, New Freedom Exchange, live and direct. You know what I'm saying? On this beautiful platform with you all. You know what I'm saying? On a very action-packed last few days. Oh man, action-packed.
Yes.
I don't even know where to start. It was so beautiful. Allah, the Creator is merciful and allowing us to do a couple of things the last few days. And before we get there, let's see what's up, man. What's up, Deen? What's up, Marsha? How are y'all doing?
I'm doing well. Weekend has been pretty easy breezy. I love that kind of time where I don't have to feel like I got so much going on because I am involved in so many things. Alhamdulillah for that because I do enjoy it. So I don't want to make it seem like I don't, but it's just nice to kind of kick back and not have so much to do. So it's been pretty good. How about for you guys?
Yeah, it's been pretty good for me. Today was a little. What was today? I missed the men's walk. I had the children. We was sleeping in, I guess, and then they wanted to eat out, and then we went to a nice little ribbon cutting. They opened up a new they call it the Spanish American Multicultural Resource Center.
Okay.
And they addressed a lot of issues that I think a lot of communities are lacking. So we might have to just start addressing them by action, as we always try to do and promote on our show. But also being in the community, having those resource centers. I never thought about it from a certain angle that they were presenting today. So that was very, very enlightening, actually.
Okay.
How about you, Bilal?
Oh, man, alhamdulillah. This weekend has been busy, man. The last few days have been busy. I mean, you just had a busy week, brother.
Yeah, you was hanging out late last night, man. You
yes.
I was out of it, man.
Oh, yeah, well, I think I'll backtrack just a little bit. Friday, we had the honor of bringing on our dear sister Tasleem Jamila, and hosting her listening party that she has
that was awesome.
For a new album that's out right now, streaming right now on all platforms, called Activate. Go check it out. It's really good. We had a lot of special guests that popped in, those who worked on the album with her. So it was really nice. It was really nice, and she really appreciated us.
Professor Griff came through on the
exchange.
Shout
out to Professor Griff. Shout out to Professor Griff from Public Enemy, who they just recently took home the Lifetime Achievement Award for Public Enemy not too long ago, maybe about a month or two ago.
Oh, wow.
And he also executively produced a majority of the songs on that album, with the sounds and differently matching the sounds with her talent and things of that nature. So definitely check that out. So that was Friday. And then Saturday we had the honor again, of streaming and hoping to stream and host the Sister Suad El Amin and Omar Productions Cultural Extravaganza 5.
Yes.
That was an honor. As we know, Sister Suad El Amin is one of our beloved pioneers in the African American Muslim community, songstress, vocalist, hit maker after hit maker, international songstress, I should say, world renowned. She has traveled the world with her music and spreading the word, spreading al-Islam through her music. So we had the honor. She reached out to us and said, "Well, can we put this together for her and stream this?" And we did, and we successfully did it. You know what I'm saying? And we had a very good turnout, very good viewership. And it was good vibes.
Absolutely. She ended that with my favorite Shahada. Oh man, I was like, you know what? My neighbors are probably like, if this lady don't be quiet. That is my song.
Yeah, that's like the anthem. I think that's the anthem. That's the anthem. That's everyone's anthem, out of her discography. But obviously she, has other hits too that she performed as well. So we had pleasure of doing that. And last night also the after party.
The
after party, we hosted a watch party, a private watch party for launching of the Bilalian Cinema group, or the Bilalian Cinema case group, that we will be bringing to you more of, as I'm saying, within the coming days, coming weeks, to discuss films, past and present. Last night we had a private screening of the 40-year-old version, not virgin in the sense of VIRGIN, but VRSION, 40-year-old version. Which was really good.
It was awesome.
I really recommend it. Shout out to Misunderstood, who was on our platform prior. She makes an appearance in the movie, and I'm not going to spoil it for everyone how she made an appearance in the movie and who else made an appearance in the film, but it definitely touched upon a lot of cultural references as relates to being your authentic self. I think that we all struggle with that, being your authentic self, navigating the industry, not being told what to do, navigating the industry, culture vultures, gentrification, all these things were mentioned throughout the movie. Staying true to yourself, staying true to your craft, So I think it touched upon a lot of things. It's on Netflix now. Excuse me. It's on Netflix now. It came out on Friday. It's on Netflix now. So if you have a chance, go watch it. It's also doing some limited screening, I was told. Limited screening at some movie theaters. But just know you'll be social distancing and you have to wear a mask. So I would advise people, if you have a TV or a laptop at home, just watch it on your computer so you could just enjoy it without, all that mask. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same experience as if we were pre-COVID. But anyway.
Also, I see we're on an additional platform today. You want to talk about that?
I want to shout out. Yeah, I did plug in our new platform as well. We are streaming live right now on Twitch, TWITCH. We're under NFX streaming on Twitch. So please subscribe or follow us on Twitch as well. We noticed that there is, we want to expand and be more expansive. So just in case Facebook shuts down or these other platforms shut down, we have a backup in case to where our content can be found on. So Twitch, check us out on Twitch if you have Twitch.
But I also was talking about we're simulcasting today, right now.
Oh yeah, we are
on our dear guest page. So it's not a hack.
Yes.
We didn't hack his page.
Oh yeah, we are. We are simulcasting on our beloved special guest. Good segue. good segue into me introducing our beloved brother, who has returned with us to bless us with his presence. You know what I'm saying? We're very pleased to have him back, Brother Tariq Toure. And, we're going to read his bio. I mean, obviously, I think it speaks for itself, but, from the last time. But, Dean, you was by yourself the last time. So this is
I
the
was in
first
Ramadan.
time.
It was an early.
Y'all was in Ramadan mode right after Zohar. Yep. I'm like, these guys are going in, beloved. So, I was checked out. I ain't gonna front. I was checked out, man. But let's read our brother Tariq Toure, his bio that I have in front of me right now. So let's read. So his is broken down into a lot of different categories. So let's read. Tariq Toure is a poet and native son of West Baltimore that has produced art reaching across hearts and continents. Toure's poetry and prose has been featured in award-winning publications such as Muslim Matters, Salon, Washington Post, Al Jazeera, The Nation magazine, and Sapelo Square. Black Seeds, which I have a copy of. Tariq's debut collection of poetry ranked among the top in African-American poetry and literature releases in Black History Month on Amazon, and was the winner of the Best Poetry Book of Baltimore in 2016 by City Paper magazine. Toure has been a featured lecturer performer at Howard University, which he is a graduate of. So this is Marsha. I know she got on me last time. She got on me last time because I had the Lincoln people up in here. So now we have
a Howard grad up in here now. Me.
Yeah. He has performed at Howard, Princeton, Georgetown, and many others. He has been regarded by legendary hip hop artist Black Thought as the Amari Baraka of our era. I don't. Let's reread that again. He has been regarded by legendary hip hop artist Black Thought as the Amari Baraka of our era. Imam Omar Suleiman has identified Tariq as a vessel of the Muslim community. Toure is a 2020 winner of a short film award from the Center for Global Muslim Life for his film Dear Beloved Son. In 2017, Toure's writing was continued to Gordon Parks Fellow. His writing contributed to Gordon Parks Fellow, and Times Magazine featured photojournalist Devin Allen's book and exhibit, A Beautiful Ghetto, which was nominated for an NAACP Image Award. Toure is the author of 2 parts Oxygen, his sophomore collection exploring faith, family, and fatherhood. Executive Director of the Muslim Wellness Foundation, Dr. Camilla Rashad, calls 2 parts Oxygen an emotional tour de France. I mean, I can go on. I mean, the brother has, it's a lot. So I'm not even going to read it because I want him to bless us. So without no further ado, let's bring on our beloved Tariq Toure now.
Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
RHU. I had to do that because they tried to tag team me the last time, so I had to get that in
there. Hey man, don't fake the funk, man. Don't fake the
No, we got love for all the HBCUs. I just had to get that out.
It's our love for all. It's all one big cousins, That's all that.
Right.
But we know who the big cousin is, though.
Oh man, the big cousin. So Tariq, man, we read your bio. I read your bio, and obviously it's very lengthy. I mean, from your contributions in the game and the art. So without the fluff, because words, bios, to people, really mean, unless they don't mean a lot, but on this platform, we want people to reintroduce yourself as you want to. Who is Tariq Toure?
I'm a concoction of Cochran and DeAndre Hopkins. I deal in trade, catch fades, and dole out doctrine. I'm from where they let the long nose ring like Rodman, where blacked out cars skirt like Scotland, and hearse your top men. I'm at work, just watch when. I get these verses clocked in. I'm a poems poet. I'm a locksmith. I hold keys from the kingdom to the coroner's office. And as important as art is, to properly perceive what was poured in this artist, you have to begin by exploring the coffins. The first lock I ever picked was to a funeral home to see why so many kings were taking 2 to the dome while we were recruiting the chrome. And my OG said, no way in hell could we do it alone. No matter how many times they looping in songs and Gregory Hines around the issue, the truth is translucent and known. So lo and behold, I was birthed and immersed in the tradition of transmitting the mission to the masses. So the muscle memory bank is lifting for the mass and lifting up the caskets so the world can never get it backwards. I'm one of them kids who flipped upon the mattress, then was told to slip up in them classes. Don't give up till it's mastered. Mix it with knowledge itself and switch the whip up on the masters. To only climb the mountain if it's massive. I'm a walking, talking, marching order to be a margin forcer. So I'm spitting continents and dissolving borders. I'm a pen pirate on ink oceans, guard your water. I'm an oral author, and I've been wailing on pages since the Middle Passage porters, sort of. So that is the non-bio intro.
I was about to drop some bombs up in that.
People, you never know what people want in a bio, and so when I was getting advised what to put in the about me section of the site, they just said just pour it in, and then people can pick and choose what they want to share from it. But ultimately, I'm trying my best to be a servant of Allah of my gift.
That's right. That's right.
Man, you
That's
dropped
right.
that. I'm like, yes, more. So where did it all start for you? Where did spoken word start from you? What was the inspiration?
So I've been writing since I was about 7. Like little pity pat rhymes and little pity pat poems and stuff like that. Stuff about school, teacher hating on me, type stuff like that. And then my mother she's like she's an English major. She's a former 3rd grade teacher, and she has always been just on me about language. My father is a grammarian. He teaches high level classical Arabic. So I've been surrounded by language for a very long time, and I started sort of reading different people's work. Reading people like Maya Angelou. I started seeing people like Amir Suleiman, and I was inspired. And so I had written for a very long time, but I didn't share any of it until I got to college. I had I got the notebook full of scribbles and all that. And they started having programs at school, and I started to share my stuff, and people enjoyed it. So I've been continuing to share it publicly thereafter. So it's been a beautiful ride.
It's so interesting that you mentioned that your mom's a teacher, your dad also teaches, because I wrote some notes earlier because I was listening to some of your works on your page, and one of the questions that I always have is sort of like, what kind of student were spoken word artists when they were younger, or even rappers? Like, I always wonder what kind of students they were, because I feel like you all are masters of language, and then you just brought up sort of your relationship to language and the inspiration from your mother to kind of have that relationship. So I'm just like, wow, right now, because that's exactly where my thought process was earlier when I was listening to you. Like, you have to be able to tie so many things together and be artful with language in order to do what you do.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that also I was just very intrigued early on, because I'm the youngest of 7 on my mother's side, and I'm the second to youngest of 11 on my father's side, and having older siblings, it just prevents you from listening to like as much contemporary music as you would if you didn't have like older siblings. So like one of the first like rap records I ever heard and was ever like something like sit down and listen to this was KRS-One the MC, and it was like, if you're gonna do anything with language, words, you go rhyme, then this is your roadmap. And so I couldn't get that sound out of my head, and the instructions that KRS provided in that song. So yeah.
So do you also carry that in your music? And do you feel an obligation to continue that even though it might not be popular?
Oh yeah, definitely. You got to put medicine in what you do. I think that would be a disservice, and I think that you know, as Muslims, we believe our work here is eternal.
Right.
So, you know, when I get on the other side of the situation, hopefully the things that I decided to put on paper and put in sound are things that might help me out when I'm on the other side. So that's like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. I got to do that for sure.
Well, no, because some people they have a struggle. I don't know if it's an internal struggle, or if it's peer pressure, or if it's just what their intentions are. But we've had several, guests, and we know people in our circle that there's certain things that they put on the scale that as you just articulate is a no brainer. So I don't know, maybe what is it that you could, as a artist, could advise them or coach them on to bring them through.
I would say that you ain't just yourself doing this. You within a long continuum of like poets and writers, and so you're not just isolated. You just like a blip on the road. And so this tradition that we participate in is far reaching. So our ancestors, this wasn't just something that was like just cool to do. They recorded their history, and they were the poets for memory banks for their societies and civilizations. And so if you do that homework, if you do the knowledge on that, if you have that sort of understanding, then you realize there's much more onus on what you're doing. You ain't just spitting rhymes, like we're not just, that's not what we participate in. This is something ancient. They used to hang the best poetry on the Kaaba, right? So like this is a serious endeavor. And if you learn more about it, you'll take it more seriously, and you'll realize whatever you put on wax or paper, it needs to be to a very high standard. Very high standard, at least for us. I can't speak for nobody else. I can't speak for nobody else. But what we do, yeah, it got to have some depth.
So I got a two-part question. So what would you say is the role and the role of the poet in this times that we live in, with the social political climate that we live in right now here in the wilderness of North America and the world, internationally? And the second part of that question, part B, is what is the role of the poet as specific to the history of al-Islam, as you said, with the Prophet, and now, the role of the poet now in the Muslim community?
Well, first I would say, just with the climate, number one, artists, we should try our best to be beholden to truth. That should be just number one. If they ask you about what happened, if they ask the poet about what happened, if the ether asks the poet about what happened, right, then we can't lie. We have to be truthful about whatever context and whatever things that took place. And so that's what I meant about, sort of we're recording history with our work. And so if that's the truth, then all right, if we understand that that we have to relay reality, then we have to do it in such a way where it puts the listener, the reader, whoever, in the driver's seat of that experience. And so the greatest griots, the greatest people who participate in this, a couple minutes into what they're doing, and you with them, you sitting in the passenger seat of that experience. And so that's responsibility. And that ultimately works to build empathy and understanding. Why you relaying that? Why you telling the story? It's not, we tell you kids' story and stuff like that. It ain't just because it sounds cool. It's so that it's potent and that they remember. And also just recording, history in Islam. One of the Sahaba used to tell the children, like, gather around, I'm about to tell you about your glory, right? So we're going to talk about any glory. All glory belongs to Allah. But if we're going to talk about any glory, let me tell you about why we're here, why we do what we do, and why we consider ourselves blessed. And those things, they will manifest at the time that they're supposed to, for those people who are able to experience that, for those kids, those children, those communities. Your memory bank will kick in right when you need it the most.
Wow. And so I was gonna ask that question too about the whole, social, where's the spoken words artist place in terms of social justice. And my follow-up to that was sort of what happens, if the spoken word artist has a place in social justice issues and making that and giving that awareness to it, then what happens when you get off stage? What is the role when you're off stage?
I think number one is just being accessible. One of the things that one of my writing mentors, D. Watkins, would say is like, you had to be the person that you didn't have growing up, or the people that you didn't have growing up. And I mean, as we did our Fudger program, you know what I mean? Like, that went boom after Fudger. So have y'all done an after Fudger joint since?
One and only out. You the classic. That's one and only. Standard. That's the standard.
I think you were trying to get me to be on that one, Deen, right?
Yeah, I trying to get all of us to be on that.
Yeah, I can show you better than I can tell you, and what that means that the kid down the street from you, they grew up saying, oh, this brother did this, or this sister did that. This brother was a poet. He lived down the street from me, and they can feel and touch, and they can rap to me, and converse with me, whatever the case may be. So I think it's just being present in who you are, and what gift that you have, and then also using that gift as a responsibility. I mean, that's just Allah allowed me to be able to write with a level of eloquence. So my job is to hammer out at that thing until I can't do it no more.
Right. And so I have another question about, and this one is about your artistry versus your Islam, or your artistry, in cohesion with Islam. Was there ever a point for you where it felt like your passion for your artistry and your practice of al-Islam sort of came head to head and you had to make a decision?
I would say that hasn't happened because I don't think I'm sort of in a space that would dictate that. Like, I'm not like a rapper on tour,
right?
People doing cocaine off tables, It's like I'm, that's not sort of the poet's life. A lot of people, they don't have an acquired taste for poetry. That's not even their bag. They don't have an ear for poetry, and so that has sort of shielded me a bit from having to deal with like being around, sort of crazy stuff. I would say the art world is interesting, but Islam is just, it ends up being a shield. And so I would hope that people who are coming up in their art, they would learn that like Islam has a lane for us, and it's very protective, because right now you could be famous and go viral and all types of stuff, and it'll be for all the wrong reasons. And so like Allah has allowed us to be able to do what we do and not have to worry about being in no crazy scenarios and stuff like that. Maybe if I was rapping, I don't know if I could rap or sing. Who knows? Where that might lead me. But I ain't never been on nobody's tour bus. I might travel around, but it's not like, I'm doing a 40-night tour in Amsterdam, and it's not. Yeah, I'm laid back, man. I'm cooler.
So your upbringing, I want to bring it to your upbringing, your childhood, growing up in West Baltimore, your environment. Obviously, when I first started listening to you and following your content, I was like, wow, obviously I think your environment has something to do with your poetry, man. Would you elaborate a little bit on that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, alhamdulillah, like, you can do your best to incubate a child in a certain environment. And one of the things that Islam said, was that, he wanted, I want to spend my last days, amongst the fuqara, amongst the poor, and, or the downtrodden, or the forgotten, whatever how you want to call it. And that was a blessing growing up, because my folks, they could have left town. But but you grow up seeing some very acute suffering. I would say acute suffering, acute, like the pinnacle of people suffering and people not having knowledge of self. And George Jackson, what did he say? You know, he said we have developed a mannerism, you know, that made us cold. And so you sort of experience your people and you experience all of the violence and the, you know, when I grew up, it was nothing to have a dope line, 50 people strong rapping around the alley right by the masjid. And seeing that, you know, seeing the shootings and all that type of, just everything that has to do with, you know, Wild City. Any hood USA, you can go find the things. What it made me do was sort of ask questions. I would ask my mother questions a lot. I would ask my family questions about why things were happening. And I had the blessed opportunity to have people around me who could decipher what was happening. And so that's maybe not very common when you have people can say, you know, this is a result of that. You know, this is because whatever case may be. You know, I could see somebody with the whole, you know, hop out of a Benz, you know, 500 whatever Benz. They got the new Gucci shoes on, you know, straight ball clear coat, all that, right? Boom, boom. And I would have somebody in my ear be like, yeah, well, yeah, he gonna be locked up. He had a nice run this winter, but yeah, this summer he gonna be doing about 10 to 15 in the feds. So that truth, you know, I had the truth. It wasn't somebody in my ear telling be like him,
right?
Or saying, hey, that brother, you know, that brother, whoever it is, that person is an entrepreneur. That person, you know, is entrepreneur with the wrong business. I had somebody saying that, but you know, that was the blessing. That was the blessing, and it was also a burden. Just Baltimore is a wild city, man. Late 90s in Baltimore, early 2000s. We inherited, you know, the Crips and Bloods in the early 2000s, late 90s. We was already buck wild city. It turned everything up a notch. Lost friends, lost a lot of friends, and so what I try to do with my work is sort of have them speak through me, you know. Which is why in the very beginning of the poem that I just related to you all, you know, I say, even though they loop it in songs and Gregory Hines around the issue, the truth is translucent and known. So it's like, if you folk, you know, we ain't just out here just shooting each other up for no reason, and you know, others, you just know. So we ain't gotta, you know, try to explain it away to people.
So, and I like the fact that you sort of highlight that there were people in your life who took the time to explain, or even had the wherewithal to be able to explain. And just an extension of that, you know, it's important to be able to explain things to children, especially when they're asking you the question. I think as in the African American community, historically, we kind of think we're shielding our children from certain things by not explaining, but then you don't understand, or you're not always conscious of the fact that when you are doing that so-called shielding, you are leaving the child to themselves to make up why, you know, what is happening, or if that thing is more glamorous than what it really should be. So you know, kudos to the people in your life who took the time to be able to explain, because when you don't explain it, it just leaves it wide open for anything to occur for our children.
Yeah. You can't. I also grew up around kids who was thugging for recreation. You know, had good, halfway good homes.
Right.
And for whatever reason, they just thought
likes
recreation was something to do, and so that in itself always disgusted me, because I was one of those kids where, like, my older brother would come out, even if I was trying to act like, you know, like I would, They be like, "Oh no, come on, I know
this ain't you. Come down, yeah. You faking. Come sit over here."
So I still got my Baltimore chip on my shoulder, but it's just it's manifested differently. So,
I hear that DMV in your voice too.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation on itself. Because when I finally went to school, I hadn't been nowhere. Like I hadn't been anywhere. Not really, never left out the state like that. And so when I got to school, and I met like, now it was like black folks, but like good families, like.
Trust me, I understand.
They be on campus tripping, and I'm like, yo, like you be giving everything, like
Exactly. No, I definitely understand because I'm like, y'all bugging. Like I'm from the hood. Like why y'all doing this? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So where does the inspiration? Like when you go to write a piece, how do you sort of get into that zone? How does it come out for you?
What I explained this by something. Somebody asked me to write something for a competition, right? Okay. And I was like, that's not how this works. So I say this as truthfully as possible. I just write whatever comes to me. Okay. So if Allah decides that we all have epiphanies, right? We all have like light bulb moments. If Allah decides to make that available for me, then I strike. If that makes sense. So like, I'm not. If I'm writing and there's no epiphany, I'm writing because I want to get mechanically better or fundamentally better. Okay. But as far as like crafting a concept, an idea, things like that, I truly wait until my soul stirs, and then like I'm able to convey then. And so I don't work outside of that. I've tried to work outside of that, and it come out super corny. So I just, if Allah allows an idea, then I'll be like, all right, I'm to the point now where I just be like, I'll like whisper thank you to myself. But, thank you to Allah. Just all right, cool idea. All right, we're gonna go write about it now. So, and I would implore other people to do it because the things that are coming to you naturally and organically are the things that are gonna speak the most to people or to situations. Like it's gonna come off so organic and just real, like real. Yeah.
Excellent. We at the halftime mark. This is New Freedom Exchange, a cultural expression for social dignity and community empowerment. I'm your host, Brother Deen, here with Sister Marsha, Imam Bilal Hassan, with a special guest and on his platform, Tariq Toure. We're going to talk about your book, the new book that's out here ready for purchase. But I do want to give our audience who've been listening to us so far a little taste of your poetry. I got one of my favorites on here, the Audubon. You want to introduce that?
I like that too.
You want to introduce it to us, and then I'll put it on.
Oh, okay. So I wrote Audubon in February in commemoration of Maulana Malcolm X. May Allah have mercy and may his soul into Allah. Amen. And it's just homage to the Prince.
All right, you heard it. Here we go. We'll talk about it afterwards.
I was told that truth out of season might get you killed. But Malcolm died in the winter. And I don't know what's colder than taking gunfire in the center of the same heart that beat like a djembe drum for his people. My Umi says they'll always come for the people who dare have the audacity to proclaim us equal. So his sentence to sudden death is yet another sequence in the sequel. Better yet, a chapter in the saga. He lays in a chapter of other martyrs. And I wish that this was some abstraction unthought of, that the bullets that claimed him had no name. But if you know, as he knew, without a molecule of doubt, that is not the nature of this game. When his soul was placed upon this plane, he painted with his entire life as a canvas, then placed it in a frame. His truth still lingers. His truth still remains. I can taste it when it rains. But for abolition, they'll engrave your alias on ammunition and then try to say the case is cold before Allah can raise your soul. But in these days, just know that his last breaths and his last steps never ended at the ballroom. February 21st was yet another pit stop in Harlem, as it was in Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, Slauson. You can still feel the Malcolm in all them. We take our leave from the prince, and then we breathe for the prince. His single pursuit was Huck, and we've been breathing it since. So salutations to the man who died 3 times over, first as an outcast, second as a prisoner, third time as a soldier, who saw his people being crushed by the weight of the world, and then placed it on his shoulders. Something happened in that prison that's crafted every instance when a soul realizes the reality of living within this gap that we are given, that we've been masterfully hidden from the light of his dominion. And once that veil has been lifted, there's not a colonizer alive that can extinguish his flame. Severing 1,000 tongues won't make us relinquish his name. Don't let one ear of our children not hear about the man among men, about those towering shoulders as we stand upon them. Today, we send our forgiving prayers upon him, because he taught us to love ourselves. That every hourglass's sands have one end. Shabazz gave everything he had. His darkness, his light, his love, his life. And though our people still march through the night, though there are far more waters to wade in, we are armored for the fight. We are illuminated by his soul. We are awakened by his rage. And it was all written in with dried ink upon the page. Let the world forever know, from every sinner to every sage, that merely his body was taken on that stage. Audubon. Thank you. Thank you.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I was listening to it earlier. I was like, oh man, I wrote down some favorites already. That was on my list. That was for sure on my list.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah. I just think that you string together history, current events, language. I think you string it together so beautifully, and it's just like, man, it just makes you like want to know where that comes from. And so that's why I asked you the question earlier, sort of like, how does that all come together for you? And it has to be Allah. It can't be anything but from Allah, because it comes together like so beautifully.
Yeah. Inshallah, for the artists, it's just passing through. That's all it is. That's really it. It's just passing through it. And I think my only not my only responsibility, one of the most biggest responsibility is just being ready for it to pass through. Ready for the inspiration to pass through. And so a lot of people, they will say, like, they ask questions about writer's block. And what I would say is, to get over writer's block is to write when you don't have inspiration, but work on like being able to rhyme something or being able to the mechanics of a story, those things that will be ready when the inspiration comes. So when inspiration comes, you know how to format everything, you know how to put it all together. So yeah.
So that struggle that you I guess you connected to the journey, obviously, of Malcolm, and then also what you witnessed in your life, and then also what you accept as your responsibility. How does that come to where we are now? The story that you present now, David's Dollar.
Yeah. Okay. So I wrote a poem. I wrote a poem that maybe about 4 years ago. And so I was trying to articulate why we need to spend money with each other, all that type of stuff. And the level of language that it was at, I didn't really feel good enough about like where it was at, to where it's like, okay, is this joint barred up the way that I like it barred up? And I started thinking in my head, like, maybe this is a children's book. I've never written a children's book a day of my life. And it took a very long time for me to even get it into like a formulated idea, because I just had the manuscript. And I got in contact with a few people who deal with illustrating and stuff like that, and it was like, hey, this can actually really be a thing. And so I wrote this book called David's Dollar, and it's about a young boy who earns $1 from his father from doing his chores, and he spends it on some candy, and then afterwards he gets sad about losing that $1, and he asks his father, and I'll show you the thing. He asks his father, Daddy, where's my $1 go? And so his father takes him around the community that he live in, and they go from business to business to show exactly how that $1 was spent.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And number one, I grew up in a household where do for self was preached and educated, and what I intended to do was make a story that represented the default reality that we get to experience in some of our communities. In a lot of our communities. A lot of our communities have small businesses. Brother, sister, Jamila been running her shop for forever, right?
Right.
Big stuff from her for forever. But we might not realize that value until she end up on cake bars, right? Until like the other folks have validated her. So these things are very default, and I wanted to articulate that without having to say, "Hey, this is the Black Muslim book about Black Muslim economics," and all that's lovely. I do that 100%. But I wanted when my child and my other children read this and families read this, they see this as regular. This is default. We gotta, like we talking about normalizing all this other crazy stuff. Let's normalize things that we already know and have love for. And so it speaks to the lecture that Malcolm Rahimahullah gave when he said, what he said, I don't know what's it called. I forgot what the name of the store, but he said, it started out as a dime store, right? And then people were patronizing that, and they made sure that they were able to have a business they could go to.
Woolworth.
Woolworth. There we go. I was gonna say Walmart. I was like, definitely Walmart. But
it's like the 5 and 10.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But can I preach it? Can I present a concept? And then also make that concept palatable, in a nice story, can rhyme. And then Sister Anika Sabri, who made this world come to life. It was, again, another no-brainer. And so I feel like this story needs to be in the hands of our children because we're going to have to depend on them to treat our places of business and the institutions that we've grown from the ground up like any other famous whatever, because some of them are already right there in our places. So it's David's $1. So yeah, so he spends his money. So he goes to Sammy Sweets on Tulsa Street. All right, and then he goes from Sammy Sweets to Mansa's Blends. Okay. And so Sammy spends his money with Mansa. And then Mansa then goes to Layla's Pizza Shop. Oh, she got a yellow scarf on like you, don't she?
She cute. She cute. Yes, Layla.
And then Layla goes and spends her money at Madam C's, right? The daughters are getting their hair styled and laid, right?
Nice.
All right. And then they go to his Uncle Kareem's hardware store.
Nice.
All right. And then Madam C spends the $1 getting something from them. And then afterwards, they have to go pray. And after they praying, the imam says one of the families in the neighborhood's house is burned down. And David says, you know what? Let's use that $1 and give sadaqah. And so it's able to come back into the community. So he's dreaming about it at the end. He's dreaming about all the stores.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. Like I'm ordering my book. I actually was gonna order my book yesterday, and then I wound up doing something else. But I am getting my book. Don't worry about it. I got you covered. I'm getting my book. I think it's so important for not only for our children to learn that lesson of sort of how the dollar rotates in their community and that it should be rotating in their community, but it's also important for them to see themselves in the literature that they're reading. And that's like key for young children, because then you feel validated. You know, you feel validated in opening a book and seeing someone who looks like you. And you know, from our perspective, that's for, you know, the Muslim child. It's important for them to see someone, you know, a young lady to see, or a little girl to see someone with a kimar in a book, or little boy to see someone with a kufi, because then you don't feel alienated, because it's like, no, this exists in society too. But in addition to that, it's just important for us who have sort of this higher knowledge to put that out into the community for everyone. Because everyone needs us. And there was another show where I gave a comment, and I made that point, is that the world needs us. And so as much as possible, we're able to put out those good principles and those ones that will get us to the next level, we should be doing that, not just for us as African Americans or Muslims, but for everyone, because it's just going to make it make the world so much better going into the future. So thank you for the book. I love it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much. Yeah, my mother, she said the reason that Martin was so successful, and the reason that certain stories are so successful that when we're able to do them, is because you know that person when you see that person in that story. Like, you know her. Right? You know her, right? And so it's like it ain't rocket science. It ain't rocket science. And these things are already they're already around us, right? So like Disney can go spend, you know, a work retreat in South Africa and be with the, you know, the folk there, and they come back with 30 stories that they're going to publish on the big screen, right? And they've been telling these stories to each other generation to generation for the longest time, about regular people in your family and around your neighborhood. And so like we really don't we don't, sometimes we don't recognize the value of the people that are right there.
Right.
Yeah, last time we talked about that, we was joking, but at the end of our show last time, we said, you know, you might be in the billionaires club, you know, and then when you I know I got you, but when you gave the illustration of how the dollar moves, and I mentioned this on our platform before as well. I mean, we're in an $80 trillion economy, right? That circulates, right? And they say African Americans, we get about a $1 trillion, right? So the logic that you just said, that's normal and natural. I mean, if we articulate that in our household and in our responsibility, then we will be able to produce more millionaires, billionaires, and then we won't have these problems, like you said, the conflict between the burden and the balance of what we see in our society that shortchanges us, because we're all human, you know. So
yeah, I mean, some stuff, you know, people, some issues are social, psychosocial stuff, you know, and some stuff is just straight up resource based. Somebody, you know, might be stealing, hitting somebody over the head because their child is hungry. Very simple things that can be remedied if somebody is supported or places is supported. And you have like now these districts around the country that's praying for Amazon to come set up a factory there, right? Viking company, cutthroat company. They praying for Amazon because they know it's going to employ a whole bunch of people, right?
Correct.
And Jeff Bezos like won't give people, fair pay. Some people can't take sick leave. All them people had COVID that with his company and stuff like that. And I'm of the belief that with the guidance of Allah, your folk might take care of you a little bit better than somebody else. We will pray and hope that, or you might be more accountable to that. So we just, we gotta support what's right there. We have to support what's right there. And I try to make a practice of that myself. And the beautiful thing is, and this is what I would say, if there's any selling point on this book, after you read this with your family, or you read this period, you can walk out the door of your house, right? Or on your phone, go to a black business, go to a Muslim business, and have your child watch you do exactly what just happened.
Yes.
Done. It can happen right there. Right.
Because it's not just, it wouldn't just be a story in a book.
It ain't just a story in a book. So I've gone to a sister has a food truck here, and I had my daughters literally, and I'm trying to act like I'm not watching them, and they watch me. Well, here you go. I'm gonna get 2 chicken patties, boom, boom, and they're watching, and I'm like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to work. So yeah, man, it's just a beautiful thing. I'm thankful that the story was able to happen.
No, I think it's great. I mean, we want to encourage those who are listening to go ahead and make your purchase on davidsdollar.com. You know what I'm saying? You see it right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? The website is right there on the screen. The support the brother, obviously, but also support the concept, the principle. We're talking about the principle more so. I mean, of course, the brother wants, you know what I'm saying? This is his art. This is what he does. So we want to keep his pockets a little, you know what I mean?
A lot of you got. Come on, man. I mean, if somebody going to get it, who you want to get it? That's my philosophy, man. I'm saying if somebody got to get it, I want somebody to get it that's going to know what they're going to do with it. Because at the end of the day, like they said, no, because like you said, when you mentioned the brother's name, we have a brother in our community, Sharif Abdul Malik, right? And everybody call him they call him right? Everybody call him the Black Bezos, but he's like, nah, I don't want to be that, because his whole thing is he knows what the mindset that they use to get what get, right? And he knows what Allah bless him with his mindset. And so his whole thing's like, yeah, we want to get money, but we're not getting money just to be getting money. Like, we getting money. We providing opportunity for us to expand and live together. I mean, because you would think they said they did this whole timeline about how technology advanced so much in a short period of time, right? But then they said that the human elements and human indecency also increase. So how is it that you get more ease, but then there's more hardship among humanity? That's because of the mindset of how we see each other or value each other. And so, like I said, what you sharing with us is, like you said, it's more than just a book. You know what I mean? So that's where I be coming from with it.
No, I get what you're saying. Like, one of the things that I think that, and I'll always try to speak from a strengths-based perspective, because we can pick apart all the things that we feel is wrong with us. We see what's wrong with us.
Sure.
9 times out of 10, when somebody is successful in our community, we have to shoulder the load of so much, right? Just like the
black tax, they call it, right?
You know what I'm saying? We got so tell me which NBA player, right? Which white NBA player, white NFL player, right? Has to go to the league and save his whole hood. What white player is playing with that pressure? Like, I gotta build a recreation center while I'm out here catching this ball. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, and make sure that I get my folks out the projects and so those types of things, I don't like talking disgustingly about our people, because I feel like there's always been them aunties, them uncles who made sure everybody was taken care of. So we gotta continue to support that and just build that so much culturally into what we do, that our stories, the things that our children gravitate and listen to and are fed, speak to that over and over again. Like, we gotta, as much as they try to program us with their culture, whatever the case may be, we have to program ourselves.
Come on, beloved.
Yeah,
No, this is truth, man. I mean, what are you speaking is truth, man. I mean, this is what this platform is about. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than just a podcast, us getting over here and just talking, and this I'm saying. I mean, we have a plethora of amount of content that's out here. We're not the only platform that exists. And the thing is, we want to this platform is more specifically, we'll focus on, this uplifting social dignity, uplifting community empowerment, community development more so. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we received empowerment from a lot of the leaders. You mentioned Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey and Du Bois and Frederick Douglass, and the list is endless. We don't, you know what I mean?
Right.
We've received our empowerment. Yes, Sojourner Truth. We received all this empowerment. Betty, we received from Dr. Betty and a lot of these people, great people. You understand what I'm saying? And we need development now. You understand what I'm saying? We need development. We need to utilize the lessons and the blueprints that were touched upon during that time, and we need to revisit it. And this book right here, when I saw you promote it, I was like, oh man, this is a hit. This is it. This is it, and it's simple, like you said, in a simple form, so simplified that anybody can pick it up and grasp the concept. Okay, and hopefully, I see it just by you showing the book. Mine is on the way soon. It should be here, inshallah, by this week. Hopefully, me and Deen will have our copy this week.
I just ordered mine like 2 minutes ago.
Come on, let's go. Let's get these sales up. Do a book-a-thon. Let's get these sales up.
2 minutes ago, I just ordered mine.
Hey, let's get it done, man.
So hopefully, I see this actually becoming a film.
Wow.
Do you think a short anime film?
Yeah. I would say my spirit hasn't super
right
through all the intricacies
right
of
it. Right.
But I believe there's a lot to be taught through David.
Right.
Absolutely.
I believe there's a ton to be taught through him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to make sure that it's done in a way that is specific.
Mm-hmm.
And it speaks. So this book speaks a specific language to a specific set of people.
Right. Correct.
And it may have benefit for people in the outer realm of it, but it speaks a specific language.
Yep.
And I believe that's what makes it good. That's what makes it, excellent for Allah allows it to be. Is it speaks that? So I need if it grows more and needs to do more, right? Then I needed to continue that. It has to keep this texture, this flavor, right? Don't change.
Yeah, keep that flavor. Yeah, don't change the flavor. Don't change the flavor, man. We learned for that. We learned for the movie that Misunderstood is in the 40-Year-Old Virgin. We learned from the main character that they wanted to change her flavor. They wanted to change our movie script. No, that's how we do.
I pitched it to a publisher, and they were like, "Yeah, can you write like an unrhymed version?" I was like,
"No." That's not what this is.
Well, then I tried to write an unrhymed, and I was like, "What am I doing? You know what? I'm good. Y'all good. I'm straight.
Yeah, I'm great.
I'm good. Do your thing." And yeah, you got to keep the home cooking, the home cooking.
Right.
You talking about gentrification.
Yes.
About the movie.
Yes.
And one of the things I don't think people realize just in that phenomena is that you lose that rotisserie recipe.
Ooh.
Uncle James passed up, Uncle Charles. You lose that because now it's a Chipotle. And right, that's the watered down version of of somebody from Spanish culture.
That's right.
Cooking in the kitchen. That's right.
So we're gonna try to keep. We're gonna do our best to keep home cooking, and if that means less sales, it is what it is. But I know the people who bought it, it speaks to them.
It speaks to them. It's for like you said, it's for a specific audience. It's for our people. It's addressing the needs of our people. And I think it's gonna go off the sale. I think it's gonna go off the sale, man. I think it's going off the sale, man. You know what I'm saying? And when we speak, we will be clear. This platform too is very we're very diverse, meaning that we may have Muslims for other demographics, but we have the Black Christian family. We want the Christian family. We want our fellow people of the book. This for them too. This is not just because he has a kufi on doesn't mean that you can't buy it. No.
Come on, you got a cousin with a kufi. So even like when people like be like, this Muslim characters such and such, I'm like, you don't know these people?
Right.
That's right. That's right.
David is your cousin.
You have to like David don't come home for Thanksgiving, man, to get some of that turkey sometimes, man. Come on, man.
You know, Auntie be like, no, that one ain't that ain't the greens you want. It's turkey.
That's right. Don't eat. Yes, that's right. Eat the one on the left. Ain't no meat in that one.
Well, we got another track I want to get out here called "The Call."
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah,
too.
and then
talk about that one.
Yeah, talk about that one, Tariq.
Yeah, that was like a real vessel moment, man. Like, I just felt like, and as soon as we speak about Bilal's, Bilal's are blessed, alhamdulillah. It was a lot of, I felt like it was a lot of tokenization of Bilal radiallahu anhu.
Mm-hmm.
And he's much grander than that.
That's right.
He's much grander than that. One of the reasons that they didn't want him called Allah is because he had a lisp. He would slur, the words as he got, for particularly from that culture. And yet, Allah allowed Prophet Muhammad SAW to have him place his feet on the blessed house, right?
Mm-hmm.
That connects to the house that's in with Allah. So it's like something regal need to happen. So I try my best to have something regal happen because I feel like his legacy in Islam and his soul and his heart is regal. So I try my best, put it like that. I try my best, my very best. So this is the call, and it's about the adhan, and just homage again to Bilal radiallahu anhu.
Salute.
Hollowed hearts echo, then soften to the call. Through the vast meadows, our souls begin to crawl. Just as the rose petals, our ending is a fall, prostrate to the magnificent one who sent us off, with a single fraction of light within us all, as our fears fold into the night with each adhan, clear openings in sight, with new resolve, fearing we won't live this right after all. And for the lowly seekers peering at the pendulum swings, watching the days pass for a mere moment to bring hearts in tune with the infinite, he who holds up the wings, he who crafts the kingdoms and gives kingdoms to kings, master molder of the clock that would cling, is daily call to arms for those who forgot to reclaim, for every soulless lost that forgot to remain. Clenched upon the rope within every knot is a chain, an interlocking code for both sullen and sane. We enter our abode to bleach and blot out the stains, letting the sin soak to harvest the crop from the grain. Every vibration a reckoning, a heaven-sent testament, sent solely to sink solace into the hearts of breast of men. And it can't be more evident and held in higher reverence. Without the echo of the unseen, the warriors wander weaponless. Since the Habasha placed the house beneath his regal feet and summoned humanity out of his mouth for us to meet. At the juncture of salvation and soul, and we repeat that God is greater than any of those that disbelieve, that our prophet could have chose any of those to plant the seed. But the son of the enslaved rose to mention he. Until the end of time, this holy symphony will bring man, woman, and child in droves to this decree.
Man, like let me tell you something. I was sitting there like when we come back on the screen, like what do I say, right? Because as I'm listening to it, and I listened to it earlier, all I could do is just sit here and I just kind of like did this like sigh, like just took a breath, like, because that's what that makes you feel like, and it's just like a drop the mic moment, like this. What do you say? What do you say? Because it was just, you just kind of sigh and you're like, oh man.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. One of my good sisters, folk from Baltimore, Sister Habiba. She has a really good herbal line called Wasir Remedies. So definitely check out Wasir Remedies. I believe that's their Instagram name. Yeah, man, vessel moment. I feel like one, the brother Dawood, I believe he's from Cleveland. When I heard that adhan, I was just like, yeah, it's just, that's
it's right. What do you say?
Yeah, like I was just like, Lord, and one of the things I realized is that, like, as the older generation passes of Black Muslims here, we're not gonna have sort of that blues in our Quran and blues in our recital and blues in our Arabic that they have, because a lot of us we've been taught to recite, how people the Qur'an of the schools, overseas and stuff. And so, like, that blues key is not, so it's like, you know what, I need to try to make that permanent real quick.
Right. You can't lose that.
Archive that, right? We archive that. And I wrote a lot of verses today. Because I wanted it to be proper. And yeah, alhamdulillah. With Allah's aid, I was able to like shoot that all myself. My wife helped a little bit on the walking parallel thing. But some things, some art just needs to be done, and Allah just facilitates that it's easy. Like, I was like, all right, cool, I need some water, need the masjid, cool, boom, boom, write the words, done. Like yeah. So yeah, I think, yeah, I just feel like he needed that homage, the whole concept of it. It needed that homage, and the dawah here, the calling to Islam here, among the people who've nowhere else in history have enslaved people stayed amongst their captors. Nowhere else in history. And Allah allowed us to find Allah. And the one who is most lauded and responsible for authoring that first call to Allah is a son of a black woman, as he was called by Abu Darda radiallahu anhu, right? Oh, you son of a black woman.
Right. So if you don't find your place in this Deen, I don't know where else to find it.
Yeah. Self-explanatory. So we just we can love up on ourselves a lot more without asking other people to love us.
Right.
Simple.
And it doesn't mean that we hate anyone else, because I think people like to put that little nuance in there. No, we love ourselves, and it's okay.
But it
doesn't mean anything else other than us loving ourselves.
Yeah, but they only do that towards us when we mention we want to love each other. But when it comes to everyone else, everyone can do a lovey-dovey and instead of saying ain't no problem, you understand what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But
I grew up in one of the communities where, like, people be like, oh, taking pictures, you don't take pictures. Then you go overseas and you're like,
this one ain't real? Yeah.
And you put hero.
People taking selfies in front of the Kaaba, man. We can tell off, man.
What in the world? Like, hold on, I think you guys pulled a fast one.
Yeah, they pulled a fast one out. You gotta be careful. You have to be careful because we have to be careful of the fast ones, man, because it's like, Al-Islam doesn't mean we lose our culture.
Right.
And Al-Islam came, it didn't mean, in the Prophet didn't mean for them to lose their culture. It meant for them to become reformed as people. Al-Islam doesn't need reformation. The people need reformation. Not Al-Islam. The way of Al-Islam is it is what it is. It ain't going to change. It is the haq, as Allah says. He is the haq, the reality, the truth, and the justice. So I'm saying, deliver all that. Yeah. So for us, so I'm saying, to lose our identity, so I'm saying, that's slavery, man. To lose our culture, that's slavery. Yeah. So I'm saying, Allah doesn't tell us to abandon ourselves, man. Yeah. So when cats come with these fast ones, man, I just look at them, man, like, what are you talking about?
I don't even pay you no mind. I just be like, okay, all right, bet. One of the funny thing, my oldest daughter, she's 6, and let me preface this by saying, like, if it's anybody like suited these people, my family are like, like this. But there's a younger brother, maybe he's 20, something like that. So my daughter's name is Senna, right? So when I met him, we was kicking it. He's like, "Oh, what's her name?" I was like, Senna. He was like, "No, you mean Sana?" And I'm like, "No, Senna, right?" He's like, "No, Sana, right?" And I'm like, "No, Senna, right?" So he's trying to correct my pronunciation. And I thought to myself, I've never heard nobody named Mamadou, right, be corrected in that way. I've never heard nobody named Khadija too, right, from West Africa, corrected in that way. Right. Like, oh no, it's actually Muhammad Mamadou, right?
right.
So why do you feel this inclination to tell me like, nah, if we're talking in the terms of like honoring these names that are holy, whatever the case may be, but not just because you just feel like getting your rocks off today, like
right. I gotta teach him something.
Exactly. So it's like, what I say in the other poem, Baba's Arabic is gorgeously broken over a southern twang. Everywhere else in the world, you go to Egypt, and Arabic is wild out, right? So it's like nobody. So I don't have to beat you up. I'm just giving you a nod, whatever the case may be. But when I come across Brother Dawood and I hear the Sadhan that he's doing, I consider this is an exchange of love now, because now we're gonna archive that Adhan and Blues key.
Yes.
And we're gonna put some video, some cinematic stuff to it. And I ain't have to go out and say nothing about you not loving what no, you good. We're just gonna do our own thing.
Right.
It sounds like a new Bilalian over here, man. New Bilalian. That was one of the big discrepancies. We do a lot of history reflections, and they, when Imam, he decided to give us that as a name for our people, not just for us as Muslim, actually to show us as a people, like how you just said, how there was no one in history whose captors, stay with their captors, and so we as a new people over here, going back to the religion of origin. And the universal faith, I mean, that was something that he attached us to as well, But like you said, they came over with the whole, you can't make your own sect of Muslims and all that. And so he dropped the issue, but we coming back, New Bilali's on the fact.
Hey, listen, man, love, man, love, love for your folk, and Allah said, we dignify back. So we just appreciate our dignity after folks and tried to stomp and set the fire, set the blaze. They tried to lynch our dignity. They tried to correct it. Boom. Yeah. Deal with it.
Excellent. Any closing remarks or closing words?
I would say to everybody out there, please support New Freedom Exchange.
Big up.
I'm not sure where y'all. I don't know if y'all have the donation link up or anything like that.
Oh, we get that up right now.
You're sleeping, Bilal. You're sleeping, man.
We got it. There we go.
There we go. Boom. Bilal and Trust. We need more platforms that speak a specific language. That's that we grow up speaking this language, and sometimes for whatever reason we lose it. We lose the appreciation of our issues. We lose the appreciation of our intricacies. And so I just thank you all so much for just having me again. And And I pray that Allah continues to just bless your platform. He protects y'all. He allows you to grow and reach hearts and minds, and that our youth are able to stand under the shade of cultural exchanges such as this. Because this is a seed, and it's something that's growing, and hopefully, I don't know. One of my daughters, she talk a lot, and so
I got one of those too.
I say, you know what? Let's go and talk to Uncle Deen, and he got a spot for you on the show.
I got a 6-year-old son, man. Don't start that over here. You don't get it prearranged, but
the whole thing knocked out. But that's literally that's literally how it happens. And so I just hope that Allah bless it, and thank you all so much. And yeah, I don't want to make the ending about me. I want to make it sure that this is about this platform and what you all put forth, because if I end up on, I don't know, Oprah tomorrow or something like that, it'll be you all who holler at me first.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, yeah, that's what we're for, man. That's what we're for, But shout out to, again, Tariq Toure. Go get the book, David's Dollar. You got it right there. You said we're saying we got our copies in the mail. You should get your copy as well. davidsdollar.com. Also, he has clothing line. He has a clothing line. Greater than
we got merch. We got merch.
Yes. I saw the shirt that said pen, I guess, greater than the sword. I like that. I like that one.
You can get all Greater Than the Sword stuff at greaterthanthesword.com. Just another cultural linchpin that we can wear something that represents the loftiness of writing. And so
And also, he's an artist. You see his art in the background, in the back of
we all around cooking. Cooking. We just get it out of you. If Allah has allowed you to be able to express yourself, go mining. Go mining and try to get it all out.
What, Deen, what other announcements do we have before we let beloveds go, man?
We have the
people go, man.
Tomorrow.
Wait. Tomorrow we have
Yes,
we have the great Imam Wesley Lebron, the 3 Puerto Rico Imams, who will be coming on this platform tomorrow afternoon at around 5 p.m. Eastern. Our brother is going to be here, and we welcome him as we welcome the dialogue that needs to happen between the African American community and the Latino community. So we need to start bridging our gaps. Come to figure out
closing the ranks.
Closing the ranks. There's like 400,000 Latino Muslims in America, and that number is growing fast. So we need Spanish. We need you need to translate your book into Spanish.
Yes, sir.
Tell Imam to holler at me.
We tell Imam to holler at you.
No problema.
For sure. That's tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and then on the 14th we have the young imams on leadership who are help to jumpstart Masjid Al-Aqi Muslim, which is now Masjid Muhammad in Newark, New Jersey. It will be with us to talk about the history of Al-Islam in Newark, which goes back a long time, man. That's what I'm saying. So back to the Moorish science, back to Noble Drew Ali, actually, back to the Moorish science temple, man. So we want to connect with them, and they're going to exchange with us as well. That's on the 14th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Anything else?
Also we got the making it halal. Check it out. For those, I heard you mention the sister has some products, herbal products. This is a Muslim herbalist as well. Nadia, we're working with her in her halal certification, international certification. So if anybody has any product, check them out or check us out, and you can get your product certified and take it to the next level. We still do have our Patreon account. At NFX Daily. Check us out on that. We're trying to get a daily digital show as we've been pushing a lot of content on here. We want to go full screen, full throttle. We're working on some studios and mobile studios and the whole nine. So check us out on that as well.
Right. Get it done, because you know what? The right-wing people.
Yeah.
We gonna ever talk about the other side? The right-wing people. They get paid all types of money to lie. So we gotta come on, fill that Patreon up.
Yes, Marsha, you want to close us out? Anything before we close?
I just want to thank Brother Tariq Toure for being with us today. I appreciate your artistry. I pray to Allah that it just grows and grows and grows by leaps and bounds. I pray for success for David's Dollar. I just see so much coming from that work. And for our listening audience, I just want to echo Tariq's sentiments about whatever's in you. Just get it out and express it and become your better self. Not just for yourself, but for the community, because we want to get to a place, a higher height, and it's going to take all of us, and it's going to take us pushing past some of those fears and some of those doubts to become our better selves and our best selves. So he's a prime example of just doing it. Just do it, and it'll all work out in the end.
All right. Until next time, this is New Freedom Exchange. Salute. Walaikum salam.
It's called a social media feed because we eat through the screen. And depending on what you digest, it only deepens the fiends. Selfies are syringes, sold to bleed self-esteem. Mountains of followers of friends, few FOMO, so we fiend for the scene. But ain't one life for crystal stare, we stuck dreaming a dream. Add a dope caption for the addicts to do lines and read in between. And IGs and IV steady bleeding is clean. It's all so surreal, an open secret it seems. Like when Future be rapping from his purple pulpit, preaching the lean. And he don't drink a drop. Are we peeping the scheme? The same app developers drowning minds in the bleaching ravines. Won't even let their own kids touch them with a 50-feet beam. I figure some simpleton had to keep it a beam. But I'm a hypocrite too, cause this message hit you merely because you reached for the screen. I mean, salam.